Hey friends, let's see what kind of trouble we can get into in one take. So, Microsoft has these things called DevDrives or developer drives. If you go here to Microsoft Learn, you can see that a developer drive is a new form of storage for developer workloads. Okay, so that's compiling stuff basically. DevDrives build on top of REFS or REFS, the resilient file system that has historically been on bigger SKUs of Windows, bigger versions of Windows like Windows Server. It's been around for a long time and it's basically for really giant data sets. It's not NTFS, which is a new technology file system that came from Windows NT, came after that. And DevDrives now are built into Windows 11, the Windows 11 that you probably already have. And they're pretty cool. A bunch of performance improvements are happening inside of both Visual Studio and in DevDrives. And Visual Studio actually knows about these DevDrives. So the DevDrive, according to this article, which is from May, was available in Windows Insiders for a long time. But I believe that DevDrive are now released on Windows 11 in what's called the October moment. And if you look here, you can see the version that you need is version 22621. You can go and find that by typing WinVer. Okay, so you can see here, I'm on 25.987. You don't only have to be on 22.621. So you don't have to be too far in the future to go and do that. Let's find out exactly when they got released. Oh, look at that. DevDrives shipped. So they shipped in October 13th. So that's cool. So you can go and get this. You just need to make sure that you have the right updates. Go and check that out. Okay, cool. So let's actually set that up because I don't have a DevDrive on this machine. Now I do have a folder on my machine called GitHub. And in that folder, I have a bunch of source, but this is on my C drive. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a dev drive, and then I'll copy some source over there, and then I'll compare the performance on these things. Now here, just to make sure I'm in full transparency, I'll probably just fractionally improve my my performance here because they're already pretty fast. I've got my C drive, which is BitLockered, and it's NTFS. I've got my video drive that I'm doing this recording to, and then I have a RAID for video, for photos and stuff like that. Okay, now I'm gonna go to the Start menu. I'm gonna type in Developer, and if you do that, you can get a bunch of different stuff. You're gonna get developer command prompts. It all depends on what you've got on your machine. I'm in fact doing it though under Settings, so I want to go Use Developer Features. You can see DevDrives also appeared down here, so I'm going to go back there. We're going to type in Developer under Settings. Oops. Developer, got to spell it right. Developer, DevDrives. Okay, and under this For Developers section, you got to turn on developer mode. And under developer mode, you get a bunch of other cool features that are useful, like whether you want end task, in your taskbar, which is cool for like quit. So if you're a Mac person, you're used to right-clicking and doing a force quit, that's available. Things like terminal being on by default, Windows Terminal. But we're going to come down here to the bottom where it says create a dev drive. So I'm going to click on create a dev drive. You can see that video one that we're recording to now. We've got our Samsung 990 Pro. I think I've got another one here. So this is the drive that I'm on. Okay, and that's where my C drive is right now. And then I've got a D drive, which is my, well, not an D drive, rather an E drive, which is this Western Digital drive here. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'll go ahead and split screen here. We can do two things. We can either create a dev drive as a virtual hard drive, a VHD. So this is a little tricky. VHDs, of course, are virtual hard drives. They're hard drive containers. So it's a hard drive in a file. So you could make a VHD without repartitioning your C drive, and you would end up with your C drive on NTFS, and then in a VHD, you'd have REFS, and then you'd have your code in there. That's how WSL works, the Windows Subsystem for Linux, where you've got ext4, one of the Linux file systems, inside of a VHD, sitting in a VHDX, sitting on your C drive. Or you could go and create a formal dev drive on your machine. I'm going to try that one. There's a couple choices to do that, right? Create the virtual hard drive resize an existing volume. You got to be smart about this, though. You got to think about how much space you have. You got to be smart about your allocated space. So what I'm going to do is just to be extra paranoid, because that's the kind of person I am. I'm going to go back to my partitioning stuff because I want to see if I have any space free. Now it will resize space for you, but I've got some unallocated space right here on both of these drives. And I'll maybe get like, I don't know, 50 gigs. I mean, I don't have that much source, so not a lot. And I'll go ahead and I want to see it says on disk 0. Make sure that it is in fact disk 0 and not disk 1. So disk 0 is that's the wrong drive. So I want it on disk 1, which is my C drive. Okay, so we'll do some allocated space on that one. We'll make it the D drive and we'll call it DevDrive. And I'm going to make it 50, here we go, 51, 200. That's the minimum size. I don't want to make it too big. Okay. Now this is also interesting. You can go and mount it to a different folder path if you wanted to have C:\/ GitHub mount over there. But I'm just going to make the D drive the dev drive. That's where I'm going to put all my source. That's going to be cool. And then if I look here, you can see, of course, my C drive, my RAID, and my video. I don't have a D drive right now. Okay. Okay, I want to look at that. I don't know about you, but whenever I do disk stuff, I'm just going to stare at it for a second with a paranoid face because I don't want to mess up my machine. Okay. That was it? Did nothing happen? Okay, that wasn't too scary. Oh, look at that. Okay. NTFS, ReFS, DevDrive, regular drive. Cool. All right. So let's, that wasn't nearly as scary as I thought it was going to be. I thought something was going to spin. I don't know. It's an SSD. I don't know why I'm even thinking that anything would spin at all. Okay, cool. So now I'm just going to take this GitHub folder and just copy that. So I'm going to go from here over to here. And we'll just copy basically, well, it looks like a lot. I don't know how much stuff I've got over there. So I've got a 250,000 files going over 13 gigs. I don't know how long this will take. It probably won't take an hour and 25 minutes because this is one of the interesting things that is happening with DevDrives. This is really, really small files. DevDrives are really, really, really good at also large files. So like if you do like a copy, they do a block copy. So it can be 80 or 90% faster than if you did it another way. While that's happening, I'm going to push that over here and I'm going to drop out to the command line and do a test because I want to see if cloning is faster. So here we are on the C drive. I'm going to go D drive GitHub. Okay. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and clone I'll do Hansel Minutes, which is the podcast. So I'll go and clone that. Okay, that's fast. That was already done. Let me try that again. Let's do another one. Hansel Man Core. Clone that. It's cool. About a second. I like that. Let's go and build Hanselman.core, and that is on the D drive. Okay, and we'll just do a .NET build. Oops, I don't know why one password's coming up. So that's fast, less than a second. Let's do Hansel Minutes. So we're building the podcast site, 4 seconds. 1 second, less than a second. That's good. Okay, cool. So let's try something a little bit more aggressive here. Let's do measure command. So what we're going to do is we're going to say measure command, which is a PowerShell-ism. I'm going to say first .NET clean. So I'm going to erase everything and then I'm going to build it. So it's not fully cold. I could delete the NuGet cache if I wanted to as well, but it's pretty cold. So to measure. Okay, so that's a clean. That is 2.2 seconds, 2.12 seconds. That one was 1.19 seconds. So let's go do the same thing over on the regular drive. 1.7. Okay, I know I forgot which ones. 1.97 seconds. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm looking at the wrong number. Okay, here we go. 2.7 seconds right here. There we go. Actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to add total seconds at the end. And then I will put parentheses around it because I'm an idiot. There we go. So that is 2.73 seconds. And then we'll switch back over to the D drive. Do the same thing. 2.79 seconds. So that might not be interesting enough of a bunch of code in order to make anything faster. So let's see if we can try something a little more complicated. Because what's happening is I've got a build that is 2 seconds fast, and maybe that's not interesting. So let's try, let's go back to my C drive. How about Meadow Project Lab samples? Those are pretty good. So this is for the Meadow device. This is this Meadow Project Lab, which is a microcontroller. So let's go and do that. And let's put that on the D drive. Okay. So that's about 3,700 files. This is copying from NTFS to ReFS. Okay. And let's go into Project Lab samples source. So there is building, I don't know how many that is, 20-ish samples on the, which drive are we on? 20-ish samples on the C drive. Do a clean, start restoring, and now we're starting to build. So let's take a look at what's happening on the task manager. Because this machine is beefy, but it's not so beefy that it's not actually doing the work. So we can see, of course, OBS is doing a little bit of work here. All these .NET hosts that are running. And we can go and look at our processes under performance. You can see we've got 32 logical processors working pretty hard to do all that compilation. This is another interesting thing. If you're going to do DevDrive tests yourself, you want to ask yourself, is this a CPU-bound thing or is it a disk-bound thing? Because a DevDrive can only improve your disk builds. But if your machine is slow or if your machine's fast, then in this case here, you can see that it was all CPU-bound because we didn't really notice any peaks except for one small peak here on that. And noticing also that because the physical drives are separate, the physical drives are the same in this instance, I've got a C drive and a D drive that are on the same exact disk. One of the reasons that those copies are a little weird. We're going cross, same disk, but cross file system. Okay, so that looks like it was 49.95 seconds. Okay, cool. On the C drive. So now we'll go GitHub, Meadow Project Lab, samples, source. Did I not copy that over? G drive, Meadow Project Lab, samples, source. Oh, okay. There we go. Now D drive. 49.95. I gotta stop clearing my screen. Y'all are watching. Yeah, 49.95. It's one take, people. It's one take. What are you gonna do? Hear the fan just turned on. Little burst there. OBS is doing more work than the compiler's doing right now. One of the things that's also interesting about DevDrives is that your your antivirus software, your Defender, is supposed to treat them differently. So it's actually doing async. So rather than assuming that you're compiling viruses and in real time, it'll go in and mark them as being trusted drives. So I'm going to go and double check that this is marked as a trusted drive, because that is going to be super important. See this here? DevDrive protection. I'm going to turn that on. Scan threats asynchronously on DevDrives. Okay, so in this case here, it was not any faster on the DevDrive. Let's try it again. Because you can't really hear the fans, can you? Look at that. So that was 28 seconds. So that is on the D drive. So we had 30 seconds versus 49. So 28.26 divided by 49.95. So a little less than, almost twice as fast. But in that case, it was the async antivirus stuff more than it was in this case, the file system. So that's cool. Now that we've got that async turned on, let's go back up and let's see if I can get a second or two out of my podcast. So we're on the dev drive. Let's compile it. 254, 239, 237. So 2.37, 2.33 seconds. C drive. Oops. C drive. I'm not Linus Tech Tips, so this is not a lab. I'm just kind of dicking around. So bear with me for not having an official anything. So in that case, I'm getting 27, 26, something like that. So then we had 2.39 divided by 2.71. I'm only getting, what, 12% faster. So on this example, where we're using a DevDrive with async turned on, 12% with a tiny, already fast build. I mean, the thing builds in 3 seconds. And then on a larger build, it cut it in half by telling it to chill out, basically, on the antivirus, and also using the new file system. Let's see if we can try one more example. What I'd like to see is for y'all to start doing some tests and see if you can get these things faster and see what kind of improvements that you end up getting. Because I've got decent perf. Let's try DustBlog, actually. DustBlog's a pretty good sized project. But it just really depends on whether the thing is disk bound or CPU bound. So DustBlog is about 2,500 files. Cool. Let's go over to C GitHub. And did I just do DustBlog or DustBlog Core? I did DustBlog Core. Good. Okay, so we're on the C drive. Let's go and call measure command. And I forgot we got to call it from source. DustBlog is currently run by Mark Downey, created by Clemens Vasters, and then originally improved by, on Clemens' work was myself and Omar Shaheen, and now Mark Downey has moved it over into .NET Core. So we saw a 4.5, and we saw on the cold, it's a big build, big clean. On the cold, we saw 5.73. So we're seeing 4.5 to 5 seconds. It's probably pretty warm now. 4.5 seconds. Okay. D drive, GitHub, DOSBlog, source. 4.5 seconds on the C drive. warm. Okay, 3.8 cold. 3.74. So 3.74, 4 point. Should have made a spreadsheet. What are you doing, Ansel? 4.5. Okay, so another 18% on that one. So we've seen 12, 18, double on the large build. So it seems to me the faster you write to the disk, the faster the dev drive is going to be. They're available now. It's pretty easy. You just go into settings, put in developer features. You'll see view a dev drive. You can see that I have one dev drive. It's trusted. And then this part here that I missed originally, which is why my perf was not much better, was controlling antivirus behavior across trusted dev drives, making sure that I turn that on under here where it says dev drive protection. Another thing to think about that's super important is going to be worked on, I believe, by Dev Home and Visual Studio, but you can do this manually, is think about where all your temp files are. Okay, this is the thing. So let's go here and let's look at our, actually, you know what we'll do? Let's look at it this way. Environment variables. There's actually, I think, a new environment variable dealie inside of PowerToys. So let's bring that over here. Didn't PowerToys add environment variables? No, they added hosts files. Let's go here and go and say edit environment variables. And what I want to look at are the path and the temp. Look at this. So we got to notice where our temp folder is. That's on our C drive, right? So you might want to move that over to the dev drive if you're writing a lot of temp stuff. But additionally, you've got node modules, you've got package caches, you've got pip, if you've got Python, you've got NuGet. So we would want to optimize our NuGet cache for dev drives. This will be automatic in the future, but I believe they wrote documentation on this. See, look at this. Global packages, cache, and temp folders. Now I believe that all of this is happening now. Dev drive, Windows 11. Set up a dev drive. Blah, blah, blah. Yada, yada, yada. Where's the section on caches? You can also do this with the command line. Blah, blah, blah. There it is. The dev drive is for, now, you don't put your developer tools on it. You put your package caches. And again, this is that point I'm making about temp folders. Build, output, and intermediate files. Okay. This is it. There we go. Storing package cache on the dev drive. There we go. The NuGet global packages only is used by .NET, Microsoft Build, and Visual Studio. Create a NuGet specific directory. Okay, let's do it. Actually, I'll just do it right now. Right, I'm just chilling. Okay. Let's do it together. So we're on the D drive. They want D packages, whatever. I'll just make directory NuGet. Make directory packages. Okay, I can do that. Set a global environment variable to point NuGet packages to that path. Okay, well, that was cool. I can do that. Environment variables. Yes, I can do it at the command line. Yes, I know. But sometimes I just want to see it. I can do a system variable or a user level variable. I'm going to do it user mode. I'm really the only user that matters here. NuGet packages. Okay, so notice that I'm doing that on the dev drive. Okay, and I might want to go through all of my other things as well and just double check. Okay, I can do it. Oh, look at that. So there's multiple ways to do it. I could have done it with an environment variable like I just did. I could do it in packages.config. I can put it in MS build. To verify the global packages, use this following command. Now, I made it as an environment variable just now, so this is probably going to be C drive. Let's close PowerShell. Let's open up a new one because I might need to log in and log out again, but we'll find out. Now it's on the D drive. You see that? NuGet locals global package list. So now that folder is different. Okay, now here's your VC if you're doing C++ for binaries. Here's for pip, here's for cargo, here's for Maven. This is great. Okay, fabulous. Now let's do this. I'm in that folder. I'm gonna go ahead. Actually, I'm not in that folder. Let's go in that folder. Right here, cd boop. I'm gonna say start dot. See how that folder's empty right now? Okay, I'll put this up here. We're gonna go back over to the D drive, and we'll go into Ansel minutes, and we'll do a .NET build. I'll just use the measure actually again. And you see it says determining packages to restore. That's going to be longer. This is going to be a slow build. Look, I've just moved my NuGet packages over here now. So now we're not hopping back and forth between C and D to get our NuGets and unzip them and stuff. All that work's going to happen over here. So that was slow. That 10 seconds includes the restoring and the downloading of those NuGet packages. Do it again. More stuff, more I/O is happening on the D drive now. Okay, so now let's go over to our DOS blog, which I thought was a good one. Into that source folder. I'll do this once because DOS blog might want to, see that pause there, doing a little, and I just saw more things get restored. Right there, message pack just got restored. Do it again. 4.5, nice. Do it warm. 4.7. So we're keeping more of that over on this other drive. Cool. So it's only going to make things faster. It certainly won't make things slower. 4.4 on that one. Let's go back over to the C drive. I'll do DOS blog one last time. So 4.4. Versus 589. Okay. 4.44 divided by 5.89. So in that case, it was 25% faster. So moving stuff over into NuGet is going to be better. Now, again, if you're using pip or using Maven or using C++, you're going to want to put some work into that. But Dev Home and Visual Studio should do this work for you. It should detect that you have a dev drive. So I'm going to move all of my my C GitHub over to my D, and that'll just make everything faster all the time. Cool. So that's DevDrives. I want to see some videos, some perf, someone who actually knows what they're doing when it comes to performance, as far as like running these reliable, repeatable builds. But anyway, I'm seeing anywhere from 10% to 50. And then on block copies, meaning like copying a memory dump between REFS drives is super fast. So check that out. Thanks so much.